Hello everyone, in this video we are going to see the residence status. The scope of income of an assessee depends on the residence status. Scope here refers to whether an income is taxable in the hands of a person or not. So that refers to the scope of income. So that scope of income depends on the residence status of a person. The residence status of an assessee is ascertained as per section 6 of Income Tax Act 1961. So that a residence status is to be determined for the relevant previous year for an assessee. So the current relevant previous year is 2023 to 24. So for any assessee, the residence status is to be determined for the previous year, and the residence status can be determined for any person. So person under Income Tax Act includes individual, Hindu undivided family, firm, companies, artificial juridical person, BOI or AOP, and every other person. So the residence status is to be determined for every person which are specified under Income Tax Act. So first, the residence status of individual. The residence status of an individual can broadly be classified into two: resident and non-resident. Once an individual is determined as resident, he can be either ordinary resident or not ordinary resident. So, a person's residence status is determined under Income Tax Act with the help of the conditions specified here. Under Section 6(1) of Income Tax Act, there are two basic conditions given. If an individual fulfills any one basic condition, any one of the basic conditions specified under 6(1) has been fulfilled by an individual, then he will be referred as resident. If he fails to fulfill both basic conditions, then he will be determined as non-resident. So these are the two basic conditions specified under 6(1). An individual is in India during the relevant previous year for at least 182 days. During the relevant previous year, he or she should be in India for at least 182 days. Then basic condition number 2, an individual is in India for at least 60 days during the relevant previous year. And here the word is very important, and at least 365 days during 4 years immediately preceding the relevant previous year. So basic condition 2 consists of two parts. First part is to be checked with the previous year. During the relevant previous year, he or she should be in India for at least 60 days, and during 4 years immediately preceding the relevant previous year, he should be in India for at least 365 days. So these are the two basic conditions given under section 6(1). If an individual fulfills any one of these two conditions, then he will be referred as resident. But if he fails to fulfill both basic conditions, he will be referred as non-resident. So once a person is determined as resident, then he is to be determined whether he is ordinary resident or not ordinary resident. For basic condition 2, we are given two exceptions. Exception number 1, Indian citizen who goes abroad during the previous year for the purpose of employment or as a crew of an Indian ship. Then exception for basic condition number 2, Indian citizen or a person of Indian origin living outside India coming to visit India during the previous year. An Indian citizen who may leave in India to a foreign country for the purpose of employment. If an individual left India during the previous year, temporarily during the previous year, that is just for a short period of time, then this exception will not be applicable. If he left India for the purpose of employment, that is for a long period of time, and if he is leaving India during the previous year, or if an individual leaves India as a crew of an Indian ship, then for such person, basic condition 2 is not applicable. So, in this case, basic condition 1 alone is applicable. And similarly, exception number 2, Indian citizen or a person of Indian origin living outside India coming to visit India during the previous year. An Indian citizen who is living in a foreign country permanently, or a person of Indian origin. So, Indian origin here refers to either individual's parent or grandparent would have born in undivided India. So, if such person returns to India just for a visit during the relevant previous year, then this exception will be applicable. So, in these two exceptional case, um, basic condition 1 alone is applicable for such person. If basic condition 1 is not fulfilled, then he will be referred as non-resident. So, once a person is determined as resident, then again he has to be checked whether he is ordinary resident or not ordinary resident. So, that ordinary or not ordinary resident are to be checked with the additional conditions specified under section 6. So these are the two additional conditions. Additional condition number 1, he or she has been a resident in India for at least 2 years out of 10 years immediately preceding the relevant previous year. So as I already said, the relevant previous year is 2023 to 24. So here the additional condition 1 given is out of 10 years immediately preceding the relevant previous year. So that 10 years, preceding 10 years starts from 2022 to 23, then 21 to 22, it goes on. So we have to consider 10 preceding previous years. Out of these 10 preceding previous years, he should be a resident in India for at least 2 years. A person can be determined as resident once he fulfill any one basic condition. So here students should not confuse with he has been in India. He has been in India means he should be in India for throughout the year, that is 365 days. But here the condition given is he should be a resident in India. So students should be very careful with this point. Resident in India means we have to check with the basic condition. Any one basic condition is to be checked for at least 2 years. That is for each previous year, we have to check whether the person is fulfilling any one basic condition. So for any 2 years, if he has been determined as resident, then additional condition 1 is fulfilled. Then additional condition number 2 is he or she has been in India for at least 730 days during 7 years immediately preceding the relevant previous year. As I said, the relevant previous year is 2023 to 24, and we have to consider 7 years, 7 preceding previous years, starting from 22 to 23, 22 to 23, 21 to 22, then 22 to 21, and it goes on. So we have to consider 7 preceding previous years. So during that 7 preceding previous years, an individual should be in India for at least 730 days. So if he fulfill additional condition 2 also, then his residency status is resident and ordinary resident. That is, if a resident fulfills both additional conditions, then he will be referred as resident and ordinary resident. If a resident individual is not able to fulfill both additional conditions or any one additional condition, then his residential status is resident and not ordinary resident. I hope the explanation given with regard to residential status of individual is clear. See you in the next video.